Hello, welcome to another exciting series. In today's series, we would be solving a very practical substitution into formula question, right? So let's quickly delve into the question and solve it. Okay, so we have this question here. Okay, so we have D equals the fraction P divided by 2 multiplying the equation 2f plus p minus 1, or in brackets multiplying j bracket close, where n is greater than 0. Okay, find the value of p if f equals 3, j equals 4, and d equals 210, right? So let's quickly delve into it, but kindly take notice of this, where n equals 0, right? It will be very essential in the final output or the final answer, because whatever answer we are going to get in this question, the answer must be greater than 0. If your answer is less than 0, that means your answer is wrong, right? So you take notice of this preamble. Okay, so let's quickly delve into it. Right, so the preamble of the question has been given, and the equation states that D equals the fraction P over 2 multiplying, in bracket, 2f plus p minus 1, or in bracket multiplying j bracket close, where f equals 3, okay, and j equals 4, right? And finally d equals 210. So we insert the values into the given equation, right? So here d is giving us 210. So we have 210 multiplying p over 2 multiplying, or in bracket, 2 times 3 plus, in bracket, p minus 1 multiplying 4, right? So we simplify, okay? So when we simplify, we are going to get 210 equals p over 2 multiplying 2 times 3 will give you 6, okay? And 4 here, this 4 here, is multiplying the entire equation p minus 1, okay? So 4 multiplying p would give you 4p, okay? 4 is positive, multiplying negative 1, okay? Negative 1 here. When you are multiplying, you just don't multiply the numbers, but you multiply the entirety of the numbers. So this one here, right, is negative 1, is p negative 1. So p minus 1, the 1 here is negative 1. So 4 multiplying negative 1 will give you negative 4. So we are going to get the equation as 210 is giving us as the fraction p over 2 multiplying 6 plus 4p minus 4. So we move on to the next step, which is simplifying the equation into its simplest form. So here there's a fraction here which is 2, right? So in order to make p stand on its own, we are going to multiply 2 by each side, okay? So we are going to get, so we are going to get 2 multiplying 210, right? We're going to get 2 multiplying 210, and here we are also going to get 2 multiplying p over 2. Okay, so in all we are going to get 2 multiplying 210 equals 2 times the fraction p over 2 multiplying 2 plus 4p, right? And remember that here 6 minus 4 will give you 2, right? So that's how come we added 2. So in general we are going to get 420 equals p multiplying 2 plus 4p, right? Because this 2 here cancelled out or cancelled itself out with this 2. Okay, and this 2 multiplying 210 will give you 420, right? So that's how come we had that equation. So 420 is giving us p multiplying 2 plus 4p. Okay, so we are going to get 420 is equal to p multiplying 2 is going to give you 2p, right? P multiplying 4p is going to give you 4p exponent 2, right? So we've gotten the equation as 420 is equal to 2p plus 4p exponent 2. Okay, so we simplify, right? So in order to make the equation simple, we divide through by the LCM, the least common fraction. And amongst 420, 2 and 4, the least common fraction that can equally divide everything throughout is 2. So that's how come we divided each side by 2. So we are going to get 420 divided by 2 is equal to 2p divided by 2 and 4p squared divided by 2, right? So 2 will cancel itself 1. Okay, 2 will cancel 420 210 times, right? 210 times, right? Similarly, 2 would cancel itself 1. Among the 2p, it will cancel 2 here, okay, leaving p alone here. So 2 will cancel itself here as 1 time, okay. 2 will cancel for 2 times. 2 will go into 4 2 times here, okay. So in simple form, we've simplified the equation. So we are finally going to get 210 is equal to p plus 2p squared, right? So at this point, we have to form an equation. And based on the features of these values or this equation, right, it best fits quadratic equation if we form a simple equation out of it, okay? So here we have to form a quadratic equation, okay? Okay, and remember, quadratic equation has a formula, okay? So for quadratic equation, the formula is, okay, ab squared plus b minus c equals 0. So that's the formula. ab squared plus b minus c is equal to 0, right? So that's the formula for quadratic equation. So now let's set up the quadratic equation. Okay, so we have 210 equals p plus 2p squared, right? Or 2p exponent 2. Okay, in order to form the quadratic equation, I'm going to get 2p plus p, right? And this 210 here would jump the equation sign to join the equation here, which is p plus 2p, okay? And when the rule is that whenever a number jumps the equal to sign, okay, whenever a number jumps the equal to sign, it changes its form, right? So whenever a number jumps the equal to sign, it changes its form. Okay, so if the number is negative, whenever it jumps the equal to sign here, okay, it will change its form. So if it's a negative number, it will change its form to become a positive number, and if it's a positive number, it will change its form to become a negative number. So this 210 here, right, is a positive number. When it crosses, okay, when it crosses the equal to sign to the other half of the equation, it will become a negative number. Okay, so that explains why here we have 2p squared plus p minus 210. Okay, because it has changed its form, so it becomes negative 210 after jumping the equal to sign. Okay, so we have the formula as 2p squared plus p minus 210 is equal to 0. Okay, so let's move on to solve the quadratic equation. Okay, so the rule here for quadratic equation is that to multiply the leading coefficients, okay, and the constant term together, right? So the leading coefficient is 2. So there's the coefficient here, right? So here is the coefficient. 2 is the coefficient. Okay. 2 is the coefficient, right? So you multiply the leading coefficient and the constant term. Okay, so the constant term is negative 210, right? So the constant term is negative 210. Okay, so that's the rule for quadratic equation. So 2 multiplying negative 210 would give you negative 420, right? Will give you negative 420. Okay, so 2 multiplying negative 210 will give you negative 420 as your final answer. So let's move on in solving the quadratic equation. So 2 multiplying negative 210 is equal to negative 420, right? So we have our answer to be negative 420, negative 420. So we find two numbers, right? That's when we multiply to negative 420 and add to the middle coefficient, which is p, it will give us the number 1. So p, okay, stands on its own, right? So p here is p, it stands on its own, so it is 1. Indirectly it is 1 because it's just p. So we have to find two numbers that when we multiply these two by 420 and add the middle coefficient, it will give us 1. Now, so we have to find the factors of negative 420 that when we add, okay, it's going to give us the number 1, which is the middle coefficient 1. Okay, so the factors of 420 are 1. Yeah, 1 is the factor for every number. 2, okay. 3, okay. 4 is also a factor that can go into negative 421, okay. 5 can also go into negative 421. 6 can also go into negative 421. 7 can also go into negative 421. 10 can also go into negative 421. Straight up to 12, it can also go into negative 421. Also, 14 can go into negative 420. 15 can also go into negative 420. 20 itself can also go into negative 420. 21 can also go into negative 420. 28 can also go into negative 420. 30 can also go into negative 420. 35 can also go into negative 420. 42 can also go into negative 420. 60 can also go into negative 420. 70 can also go into negative 420. 84 can also go into negative 420. 105 can also go into negative 420. 140 can also go into negative 420. 210 can also go into negative 420. And 420 itself can also go into negative 420, right? So we have all the factors that can go into negative 420. So let's look for a factor that when we add, okay, it's going to give us the middle coefficient, which is p, or which is 1, okay. So among all of them, right, you could find out that 20 and 21, okay, are the most likely numbers, okay. So 21 minus 20 is going to give you 1. So among the factors, 20 and 21 are the most likely numbers that would give you the middle coefficient, which is 1. Okay, so we selected 20 and 21. So we had the equation to be 2p squared plus 21p minus 20p minus 210. So we group like terms here. Okay, so we group like terms here. So we solve for the equation to get the common factor. So 2p squared plus 21p minus 20p minus 210 is equal to 0. So when you group like terms, you are going to get 2p squared plus 21p, or in brackets for one term, one equational term, subtracting 20p minus 210, or equals 0. Okay, so you simplify the like terms here. The next step, you simplify the like term. So when you simplify, yeah, 2p squared plus 21p, the common factor here is p, right? So you bring p out and you multiply it by the bracket, right? So p will go into 2p squared 1, so you are going to get 2p plus p will go into 21p by 21, so you are going to get 21 for the common factor here. So you are going to 2p plus 21p. So this common factor here, right, 2p plus 21 must be equal to the other side, must be equal to the common factor at the other side. Okay, so here the group term here for the other side is 20p minus 210. So you have to create the common factor. So 2p plus 21 would definitely have to be the same for the other side. So I placed it here. So which number multiplying the common factor would give you 20p? Is 10, right? So negative 10 multiplying, so will give you 20p, right? And which number would you multiply to 21 to get 210? Is the same 10. So this 10 is the perfect number that can multiply the common factor. So you are going to get the final equation as p multiply, or in bracket 2p plus 21 minus 10 multiply, or in bracket 2p plus 21, which is equal to 0, right? So here we group like terms again. So those with the common factor, which is 2p plus 21, will be at one side, and those without the common factor will also be at one side. So in order to group the like terms, you are going to get 2p, okay, plus 21, or in bracket multiplying p minus 10, or in bracket equals 0. Okay, so we finally group the like terms. So 2p plus 21 multiplying p minus 10 is equal to 0. So we equate each common factor to 0. So hence, to find p, we equate each common factor to 0. So 2p plus 21 is one common factor. So when we equate it to 0, we are going to get 2p plus 21 is equal to 0. Okay, so remember the rule I said earlier on, that whenever a number, okay, jumps the equal to sign, it changes its form. So if it's negative, it becomes positive. If it's positive, it becomes negative. So here, one common factor we have here is 2p, right? And we want p as the subject of the equation, right? So we have to make p stand on its own. So in order to make p stand on its own, we have to move 21 to the other side of the equation. And when 21 moves to the other side of the equation, it changes its form to become a negative number. So we are going to get 2p equals negative 21, right? So 2p equals negative 21 doesn't make p to stand on its own, okay? So in order for us to make p stand on its own, we are going to cancel out 2p for p to stand on its own. And the common factor here that can cancel out 2p for p to be on its own is 2. So 2 will cancel itself 1. Okay, it will cancel itself 1. It will cancel 2p, the 2 here, for p to stand on its own. So 2 will also cancel itself here 1. Okay, it will cancel negative 21 to the value 10.5. okay, so p here is going to be negative 10.5. okay, negative 10.5. But do you remember the earlier rule I said on at the beginning of the series? I said watch the preamble of the question, which states that n is greater than 0, right? Do you remember? N is greater than 0. That means your final answer must be greater than 0. Negative 10.5 would definitely not be greater than 0, because it cannot even reach the power of 0 for it to be greater than 0, right? So we have to look on further to the other common factor, which is p minus 10 equals to 0, right? So similarly, p minus 10 is equal to 0, as said earlier on. So for p to stand on its own, negative 10 must jump the equal to sign to be at the other side of the equation for p to stand on its own. And whenever a number jumps the equal to sign, it changes its form, right? So here, p negative 10 is equal to 0. So negative 10 here, right? Negative 10 here, right? When it jumps the equal to sign, it will change its form to become positive. So p is positive 10, or p is 10. And based on the rule I said earlier on in the preamble, your answer must be greater than 0. So 10 is largely greater than 0, right? So therefore, we are going to get our final answer as, therefore, from the preamble of the question, p is. Thank you so much for watching this video. Kindly do well to subscribe for more. Thank you. Bye.